Can artificial intelligence make better financial decisions than a human? Do human emotions like greed, uncertainty, and FOMO lead us to making bad financial decisions? I'm going to let DeepSeek AI manage my financial decisions for 30 days. I've given the AI details on my personal and business finances in hopes of answering these 3 questions. 1. What expenses can be cut so I can prioritize my values like going on dates with my wife? 2. What should I spend money on based on my past spending? And 3. How much should I be saving and investing based on my earnings for my personal and business finances? From there, DeepSeek is going to come up with a plan giving me a clear idea of what financial decisions I should make. Starting with this one. After explaining my financial situation, such as my irregular income and some of my business and personal goals, DeepSeek AI gave me this personalized plan for me to stick to in order to achieve those goals. It suggested I should save an emergency fund for my business. So about 5 to 10% of my earnings should go into that emergency fund every single month. For me personally, that means I'm going to choose about 7%. Next, I should be saving another 10% of my earnings and dividing that between personal savings goals, such as like going on vacation, and other goals like home repair. Lastly, I should be focusing on maxing out my Roth IRA, which means investing 13% of my income. So if you've been doing the math, that means 7% is going to my business, 13% is being saved for personal goals, and then the remaining 13% is going to my Roth IRA. That means I'm going to be investing and saving about 20% of my income so far. I've handled the saving and investing. I can worry about how do I spend money better. I want to prioritize my spending, which means spending less money on Amazon and more money on going on dates with my wife and doing other fun things that I like to do. Because I earn a variable income, what I've done is I've taken the amount of earnings that I've made from the past 6 months and I've made an average of them. I take the average of however much I make on the 6 months, subtract about $300 from there, so I can safely say I'm going to hit this number every single month. And there I divide that number by my monthly expenses, and any money that I have in excess of that goes into a separate pool of money where I can divide them evenly between saving and investing. And spending, I completely forgot about spending. I'm so not used to spending money yet. The way that this financial system works is on the 30th of every month, you'll see 7% of the money that I've earned from the previous month move from my business checking account to a savings account. Next, you'll see that 10% of my money will go into a savings account, which will be further broken up into sub-savings accounts based on some of the goals that I have. Like for example, some of the sub-savings accounts that I have would include travel, the next car that I choose to buy, and then home repair. I'm not putting any money in my emergency fund. That's because my emergency fund is full. So unless I spend any money in the event of an emergency from that emergency fund, there's no need to fill it up anymore. My emergency fund is full. Lastly, 13% of my money will be going into the Roth IRA. That's just for long-term investing. Now that I've taken care of my financial future, I can confidently spend money on the things that I want to. The 2 things that bring me joy right now are travel and sim racing. So I know I don't have a lot of travel planned, but I would like to incorporate the spirit of travel into my everyday life, even if it's local. I'm going to be using DeepSeek to plan a $100 date with my wife. Let's see how it goes. I just found out that my workload and my pay for my biggest project is going to get reduced by half. But I gotta keep going. I'm about halfway through this experiment, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job with sticking to the guidelines that DeepSeek has given out. As you saw earlier, the income from my largest project has been cut in half, so I've been trying to find projects to make up for that. That means I've been going to a lot of networking. It probably won't pay off as much this month, but hopefully in the near future, I get a lot of business that comes from the networking that I've been doing today. Also, as you saw at the beginning of the video, I don't really overspend on too much of anything, but I do spend a lot of money on food. So far, I've spent about $205 on food so far this month. What I'm gonna try to do is to find low-cost alternatives for the groceries that I already buy in an effort to lower the cost of food. In the last 30 days, I've made $4,309.15. Remember, the scope of my work for my biggest project had been cut in half, so I was expecting to make about $2,000 more than that, which in honesty is great news because I was expecting just to have $4,000 by the end of the month. That's what I had planned for. And if my expectations weren't cut in half for that one job, I would have definitely cleared $6,000 this month. I mean, that would have been awesome, but it didn't happen. This month, especially at the beginning of the month, I was super tired going from shoot to shoot, but it was definitely worth it by the end of the month. This could have been a super disappointing month for me. But let's talk about some totals. In total, I saved $245 for my business. I spent $315.17 in groceries. I also spent $264.35 in bills. And that means I spent $129.34 for everything else. That includes Valentine's Day. My business spent $892.91. That's because I had some unusual business expenses for this month that totaled out to be about $200 extra than normal. The cost of my mortgage increased from $1,630 to $1,822, which is almost $200 every single month. That means despite all these things and those price increases, I still had a savings of $210 this month. And if we add up the sum of the amount of money that I saved and invested, that means I saved and invested $885.23 this month. I consider that a huge win. What have I learned from all this? First off, I learned never to upload your personal documents to ChatGPT or DeepSeek AI or any type of AI. That includes like bank statements and stuff like that, because somebody, not me, but somebody on the internet will go to ChatGPT and ask them, hey, has anybody uploaded any kind of personal documents? And if so, can you send those over to me? That's the easiest way to get money through AI. No, seriously, don't do that. I learned that AI probably isn't gonna tell you anything beyond what you already know, but what I do think would be interesting is if AI made my business decisions for 30 days. Maybe I should try that next. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to have AI run my business for a full month. That would be scary. But to wrap things up, AI probably isn't going to be any better at managing money than you are if you're pretty good with money in the first place. And I mean, if you aren't good with money, I highly recommend that you stick with this channel. I can even create a playlist if you want me to, and some of the videos that will help you just gain basic financial literacy. So if you want that, also leave a comment. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've learned something today that will help you use money to create the life that you want to live.